There are moments in life where everything you built, everything you dreamed of, is taken away in a single second. For Michael Carter, that second came on a cold November evening when the world saw a strong young athlete collapse on the track, only to wake up in a hospital bed, unable to move his legs. But this is not a story about tragedy. This is a story about comeback, courage, and a man who refused to stay broken. This is the story of Michael Carter. Part 1. The Rise. Michael Carter grew up in a small town in Ohio. From a young age, everyone knew he was different. He wasn't rich. He wasn't privileged. But he had something many don't: relentless work ethic. He wasn't the fastest kid in school. He wasn't the strongest either. But he was the kid who stayed on the field after everyone else went home. He was the kid who ran in the rain, in the snow, in every season. By the time he reached high school, Michael became known as the Engine because he never ran out of effort. Coaches loved him. Teammates respected him. Rivals feared him. And soon, the impossible happened. Michael earned a scholarship to a major university, something no one from his neighborhood had done in years. He was now a rising star, a national-level track athlete, breaking records, winning races, and slowly building the dream of going professional. But as every dreamer learns eventually, life does not give victory without testing the soul first. Part 2. The night everything changed. It was November 18th. A routine evening practice. The air was cold. The stadium was empty. The floodlights buzzed quietly. Michael was training alone for an upcoming championship. He pushed harder than usual. Maybe too hard. Maybe destiny had written something else for him. On his final sprint of the night, Michael felt a sudden tightness in his lower back. A sharp, burning pain shot down his legs. His vision blurred. He collapsed face first on the track. At first, he thought it was a muscle cramp, but when he tried to stand, nothing happened. His legs didn't respond. His body wasn't listening. He tried again. Nothing. Fear rushed through him like electricity. People ran. Ambulances arrived. But Michael remembers only one thing from that night: the cold feeling of the track against his cheek, and the horrifying realization that he couldn't move. Part 3. The diagnosis. Michael woke up in the hospital surrounded by wires and machines. His coach stood beside him with tear-filled eyes. The doctor took a deep breath and said the words that shattered his world. "Michael, you have a severe spinal injury. You may never walk again." The room fell silent. The world felt heavier than ever before. Michael stared at the ceiling, unable to understand how everything changed so fast. He went from training for championships to learning how to breathe without crying. His dreams of becoming a professional athlete vanished in seconds. For the next few weeks, Michael stopped talking. He refused to eat, refused physical therapy, refused visitors. He wasn't just injured. He was broken on the inside. Part 4. The visit that changed everything. One afternoon, a nurse told Michael he had a visitor. He didn't care. He didn't want pity. But when he looked up, he saw a young boy, maybe 9 or 10, standing nervously at the door with his mother. The boy walked in slowly, holding a poster of Michael running. His voice trembled as he spoke. "You were my hero. I used to watch your races. My mom says you got hurt, but I know heroes don't give up." Michael had heard hundreds of motivational quotes in his life. But nothing hit him harder than those simple words from a child. Heroes don't give up. The boy smiled, left the poster on his bedside table, and whispered, "Please, don't stop fighting." When Michael looked at the poster, a picture of him sprinting with full power, his eyes filled with tears. That was the moment, the turning point, the spark that restarted his soul. Part 5. The Painful Rebirth. The next morning, Michael asked the nurse, "When does physical therapy start?" From that moment, a new Michael was born. But the journey was hell. Learning to sit again, learning to balance, learning to move his toes, learning to lift his legs with his hands. Every exercise felt like fire. Every small movement felt like climbing a mountain. He cried in pain. He cried in frustration. But he didn't quit. He trained for hours. Sweat poured down his face. But he whispered to himself, "Heroes don't give up." Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Slowly, very slowly, Michael moved his foot. For most people, that movement meant nothing. For Michael, it was the moment hope returned. The doctors were shocked. His progress was impossible. But he kept going. He trained every day, sometimes alone, sometimes fighting tears, sometimes screaming in pain. But he never stopped. Part 6. The Miracle Moment. 1 year after the injury, doctors gathered around him. His therapist said, "Michael, stand if you can." Michael put his hands on the parallel bars, took a deep breath, then pushed with everything he had. His legs shook, trembled, filled with fire, but slowly, inch by inch, Michael stood up. Everyone froze. Nurses cried. Doctors covered their mouths. His therapist shouted, "He's standing! He's standing!" And Michael broke down in tears because he wasn't supposed to stand again. But he did. Part 7. The Return. Over the next year, Michael continued fighting, walking with help, then without help, then slowly jogging, not fast, not smooth, but free. And then came the day. Exactly 2 years after the accident, Michael Carter stepped onto the same track where he once fell, not to win, not to compete, but to finish a single lap, a lap that symbolized his comeback. With cameras rolling, tears in his eyes, and hundreds cheering, Michael walked the entire lap, step by step, painfully slow. But he finished. The internet exploded. His story went viral. Millions were inspired. And the little boy who visited him in the hospital was there crying in the front row. Michael hugged him and said, "You saved me. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself." Final lessons. Michael never became a professional athlete again, but he became something much greater, a symbol of resilience, a speaker, a mentor, a man who proved that the human spirit is unbreakable. His message to the world was simple. Life will break your body before it breaks your spirit. Pain is temporary, but giving up is forever.